everyone. How are you doing? Thank you so much for coming. And thank you, Ian and Cubic Labs, for inviting me here. I'm really honored to be here today. My name is Jessica, and I'm the co-founder and COO of MintStars. We are a content platform that protects adult content creators from financial discrimination and censorship and helps them earn more. And I'm also a PhD student in public policy at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government, where my research focuses on marginalized workers, and particularly sex workers in Latin America. And what I want to talk to you about today, this talk really ought to be called Crypto and Financial Inclusion, not Web3 and Financial Inclusion, because I'm not actually going to talk about the internet really at all. I'm going to talk about money and banking. And what I want to talk about is what I think is really the most exciting and important use case of crypto. A lot of us here think about crypto as an investment opportunity, and a lot of, if you go around and you hear about startups in the crypto world, a lot of them are about how are you going to trade crypto and make a lot of money off of it. And great, we all really want to make money. But I think there's a much more urgent use case that we need to be paying attention to. So we're going to talk today about inflation. We're going to talk about global remittances. We're going to talk about banking exclusion. And then I'm going to tell you what sex workers can teach us all about our banking system. And then I'm going to tell you why crypto still sucks. So I want to ask you all if anyone can answer this question. What do the Argentine peso and ice cream have in common? Sorry? Exactly. So this is not the price of Bitcoin. This is the Argentine peso in comparison to the dollar. A recent New York Times article included a quote from an economist in Buenos Aires who said, money here is like ice cream. If you keep a peso for too long, it melts in terms of how much you can buy with it. And unfortunately, this is the reality that a lot of people around the world face in countries where the economy is not doing so hot, where the government has not necessarily made responsible decisions about how they print their money and how they manage their economy, or there's high levels of corruption that lead to extreme rates of inflation. In Argentina, which is somewhere where I studied for a brief period of time, there's a limit on how many dollars people can buy, which has now been decreased to $200 a month. Nobody wants to keep their money in pesos, because if they do that, they will have no money a year from now. So everybody wants to get their hands on dollars, while the government is desperately trying to prevent people from selling their pesos for dollars and making the crisis worse. And in Argentina, this has been going on for a very long time, such that there is a difference between the official Argentine peso to dollar rate that you can get through the government or you can get through banks, and the black market rate. In fact, the black market is so common in Argentina that people call it the blue market, and the newspapers publish the blue market rate at the top of the daily newspaper every single day. So even though it's illegal, it is so commonly accepted and everyone uses it. And you have to go to these places called cuevas to exchange your pesos for dollars, where people will give you dollars at the blue market rate. And so as getting dollars becomes harder and harder, crypto is providing a potential savior for a lot of these people. A recent survey found that about 1/3 of Argentines believe that the savings they keep in pesos in a local bank will hold their value over 2 years. Almost 60% believe that the Bitcoin they bought would hold its value over 2 years. Now, I'm sure that none of us buying Bitcoin right now, even if we think it's going to go up, have that much confidence that we're going to put all of our savings in Bitcoin. But for many people around the world, it's actually a safer bet than their own local currency. I think the slides disappeared. Can we get the slides back up? Okay, cool. And this, to me, is one of the biggest promising factors about crypto, is that it gives people who, just by virtue of where they've been born, are not able to save money from the hard work that they're doing over time. It gives people access to be able to get a hold of a currency that will retain its value longer over time. So while we may think that inflation in the US is bad, it's far worse in places like Argentina, Turkey. Turkey is having a crisis right now and is also seeing incredibly high levels of adoption of crypto. If you look at which countries people have the most crypto in. Right now, Turkey has the highest percentage of people who own crypto. Argentina is second, and it's largely for these reasons. Now, obviously, there's still a flaw here. If people are getting hold of stable coins like USDC that are pegged to the US dollar, and the US dollar is also experiencing inflation, that doesn't solve all of our problems, but it does provide a temporary savior for people that they can access this. Now, there's also still weaknesses, right? The government could go in and say, actually, buying USDC is banned, just like buying dollars is banned. That is still something that can happen, but by the very nature of crypto, since once you have an external crypto wallet, a non-custodial wallet, nobody can monitor how much money you have in there, no one can take it away from you. Even if the government tries to prevent people from obtaining USDC, once they have it, it can't be taken from them. Now, a second major factor around the globe for a lot of people is remittances. Around the world, 1 in 8 people rely on remittances for their day-to-day lives. That's 1 billion people. And currently, the cost of sending money globally is very expensive. On average, people lose 6.25% of their transactions when they send money from one country to another. And the reason for that is you've got a lot of banks in the middle, right? Like, you have different banking systems in different countries. You have to have intermediary banks that talk to each other, that figure out which bank are you supposed to route it to. Those banks have to make money. And banks are greedy. They also want to capture value out of that. The World Bank estimates that cutting the prices of sending remittances globally by 5% could save up to $16 billion a year. Well, how can we do that? Cryptocurrency is a very easy way to do so because you can send money between any wallet, no matter what country, with extremely low fees. And in 2023, the average cost to send money from the US to another country was 5.69%. From South Africa, 13%, down from 20% in 2013. And from Brazil, 8.10%. So this is a very practical way that we could drastically improve the lives of 1 billion people just by improving their ability to send money through crypto wallets. Here's some examples of what this looks like in different countries. As you can see, South Africa is one of the worst. And this is what this looks like in different regions. And again, you can see that improving this one factor would have a drastic impact on the lives of the poorest people in the world because the highest costs of sending money are in sub-Saharan Africa. And this is one reason why crypto adoption rates in many African countries have been very high. Nigeria has an extremely high rate of adoption of crypto. And now we get to the third factor. So I want to know how many of you in this audience have ever been denied a bank account or had a bank account shut down? Raise your hand. Okay, we have a few people. And was that for your business or was it for you personally? Business, right. I imagine we have a number of people in the crypto business here, and we know that crypto businesses have difficulty accessing banking. I'm going to talk about why that is. But there are also 1.4 billion people around the world who don't even have access to a personal bank account. That's 29% of the global population. A lot of them are located in sub-Saharan Africa. But even in the United States, where you would think it's very easy to get access to banking, there's still 5.9 million people without a bank account. That's almost 5% of the population. And if you ask people why they don't have bank accounts, a lot of times it's that they don't have the minimum amount of money that you need to open a bank account. They're in lower income, less educated households, disproportionately Black and Hispanic households, or households where someone has a disability, single mother households. These are the people who are the most economically needy, and yet they don't have a place to store their savings or to invest. And another reason is that people don't trust the banks. We've seen, very recently that bank accounts are not 100% secure. Silicon Valley Bank shut down. A lot of people almost lost their money. And people want privacy as well. They feel that if they put their money in a bank account, they're going to lose their privacy. So crypto provides a potential solution for these people as well, particularly in the case of a bank not being willing to open a bank account for you. And the area that I know the most about with this problem is sex workers. So if you are not someone who follows tons of sex workers on Twitter like I do, you may not know that a huge problem facing sex workers as a whole, but including legal sex workers in this country who are adult content creators, whose work is not criminalized, they can't get access to banking. 2/3 of adult content creators have had a bank account or a payment app shut down. So where are they supposed to put their money? And this looks like not only losing a bank account, but it looks like getting your PayPal account shut down, your Venmo account shut down, your Cash App account shut down. And so when they try to receive money from their fans to do the work that is their livelihood, they are playing a cat and mouse game with financial institutions, basically just trying to create a new Cash App account every time one gets shut down. Eventually, if they do this long enough, those institutions figure out who they are and they blacklist them such that they cannot open any kind of account. And this affects adult businesses as well. My own business, we've not been able to get a bank account through a normal means. We've been denied by lots of financial institutions that we wanted to work with, even though what we're doing is 100% legal. And I personally have lost my Venmo account. I'm banned from Venmo for life. And as a result of this, a lot of adult content creators, out of necessity, not because they're really excited about crypto, some of them are, but because it is the only way that they can accept money from their customers. So a lot of them have been the first users of crypto. 35% of them currently accept cryptocurrency. But this is not a panacea either. Coinbase has shut down some sex workers' accounts. Why? Because they also work with banks. And in order to not lose their banking relationships, they also discriminate against sex workers. So the only 100% surefire way is to have a non-custodial wallet, but how do you get your money into that non-custodial wallet? And then obviously there's a lot of barriers to access to crypto. It's difficult to learn. It's confusing to people, it's intimidating. Even if adult content creators know how to use it and they learn about it and they open an account, is their client Bob the Builder over here gonna go buy Bitcoin to send to them? Probably not. It's very difficult for them to get clients to send them cryptocurrency as well. And so what we wanted to do at my company, MintStars, is we first of all wanted to solve this problem that adult content creators are living in fear every single day that they're gonna lose their accounts. If any of you know about OnlyFans, you will have seen a couple years ago that OnlyFans announced they were gonna ban sex workers from the platform because their banks and their payment processors were threatening to shut them down. That caused huge amounts of panic among millions of people who depend on this for their livelihoods. They are single mothers who are using this money to care for their kids, or their students who are using it to pay tuition or pay off their student loans. And overnight, they learned that they might actually lose the money that they were gonna have to pay their rent next month. Now, luckily, OnlyFans managed to make some arrangements with their banks, some agreements, so that they didn't have to ban sex workers. But all of these creators that I follow are living in fear that at any moment, they could lose their account the next day. And some of them are still losing their accounts because it's not only the banks that get involved, but it's also Visa and MasterCard. Visa and MasterCard have started implementing extremely strict rules about what kinds of content can be allowed on adult content platforms, and saying that if an adult business allows certain kinds of content, some of which are very nonsensical, like vampire content, pegging, hypnosis content, that they've decided are dangerous, risky from a compliance perspective. So if a creator posts content that could potentially violate terms of service, OnlyFans will shut down their account overnight. And often not give them a warning. There's no appeals process. There's nothing they can do. And so we wanted to solve this problem and enable sex workers to receive money without fear that they were going to lose their accounts, without discrimination, and also without high-risk payment processing fees. A lot of these platforms have really high fees because in order to get a payment processor, those processors are only willing to work with them if they charge higher fees to mitigate for what they believe is the higher risk of working in this industry. And so platforms like OnlyFans charge 20%. A lot of platforms charge 40% or higher. We wanted to reduce that and enable creators to receive more of their incomes and keep it. So what we've created is a platform that enables creators to sell their content through subscriptions and direct sales, but that uses crypto-based payments in order to protect them from discrimination, censorship, and high fees. And the way that we do that is we use USDC payments. So every user on the platform is given a non-custodial in-platform wallet, which means that they are in control of their funds. All payments happen in USDC. And then we provide fiat to crypto on and off ramps. So fans can top up their wallet with a debit card. They don't need to go to another site and create a MetaMask account, buy USDC there, transfer it to their account, which is one of the major reasons that crypto has not been as widely adopted on some other platforms that have tried it. It's too much friction. So we wanted to eliminate that friction, enable them to do it right on the platform. And then we provide off-ramps so that creators can immediately sell their USDC for dollars and send it to their bank account. This enables us to offer a few benefits, right? So no high-risk payment processing fees because the purchase is actually not for content, the purchase is for crypto. So we're not subject to Visa and MasterCard's restrictions either. That means that we can decide what kind of content we think should be allowed within what we believe is ethical within the law, not the credit card companies. It also eliminates the risk of chargebacks for creators, which is a major problem that they face. And it means that they can cash out their money anytime they want. On other platforms, they have to wait 2 weeks or a month to cash out. And then if their account gets flagged for some unknown violation of terms of service, their money can be frozen for months at a time, and they don't know when they can access it. So by giving creators control of their wallet, we also enable them to take their money out anytime they want. We can't freeze or touch their funds. So this solves a lot of the problems that they face. And additionally, we make their content into NFTs so that they can make money off of their fans reselling it. Another big problem, unrelated to financial exclusion, that adult content creators face is piracy of their content. Fans might go onto their OnlyFans, subscribe, screenshot everything they want to keep, unsubscribe, and go share it on another platform. We say if fans are going to be sharing their content anyways, the creator should make money from it. So we enable fans to legitimately resell the content on our platform, and the creator gets to choose their royalty fee, anywhere from 0 to 100%. That aligns economic incentives between the creator and fan. So fans are now incentivized to go promote the creator, not to pirate their content, to help that creator succeed, and creators can make more money over time. And we've seen creators are really excited about this. When we talk to them, they say, oh my God, I'm so relieved that someone is paying attention to us and someone is thinking about these issues, because they live in fear every single day, and a lot of them will be on 10 to 20 platforms at a time, just trying to mitigate the risk that they might lose one at any given time. So we launched the platform last January. We closed our pre-seed round in May, and we now have about 160 creators, 2,000 users. We would love for you to go check it out and tell us what you think. You can go to MintStars.com. Our creators would greatly appreciate if you go subscribe to them and send them money. That is how they make their living. But we're not 100% solution. There's a lot of reasons why crypto still sucks. And you might wonder, with all these benefits that I've talked about for crypto around the world, why isn't there higher adoption? Why are only 1/3 of Argentines using crypto when it seems like they could keep all their money in crypto? Everybody should be doing it. Well, first thing is educational barriers, right? Like there's a high learning barrier to this. And if you don't have the time or the access to be able to learn about crypto and protect yourself from scams, there's a very high likelihood that you're going to put your money in something that's not safe and lose it. So in Argentina, there were a lot of people who used UST, Terra Luna, which turned out to be a major scam and Ponzi, and people lost their life savings. So why does crypto suck? Because of greed. Because there are more people, when you go to crypto conferences, talking about how they can make themselves and you rich, than there are people talking about how we're going to bank the millions of people around the world who don't have banking, how we're going to help them not lose money to the banks anymore. And then obviously crypto is volatile, right? You don't know if you put your money in Bitcoin if it's going to lose its value tomorrow. You can put your money in a stable coin like USDC, but that is also dependent on the government. And as we've seen, there are problems with governments and their trustworthiness around money too. So this is not a panacea. It is one solution, but we still need policy solutions to fix these issues. And then finally, you still need to have an interaction with the banks. Until the entire world uses cryptocurrency to pay for things, you will not be able to pay your rent in crypto, right? So a lot of sex workers get really frustrated when they post about the discrimination that they're facing on Twitter, and some crypto bro comes in the comments and says, if you just use Bitcoin, it'll solve all your problems. Well, no, actually, my landlord doesn't accept Bitcoin. So I need to have a way that I can convert my money into actual dollars. And this is where there's a potential for discrimination. So as I mentioned, Coinbase has shut down sex workers' accounts. If you go and look at the terms of service of a lot of these companies in crypto, they will have terms that say you cannot use our services for adult content. And the reason for that is that they have relationships with banks that do not allow it. So my company wanted to open a Circle account. We couldn't do it. We formerly were using Wire for on and off ramping. They had told us that they would support us, that they were happy, they didn't have a problem with our business. And then they faced financial trouble. They sold to a new owner. They started working with a new payment processor, and overnight they sent us a letter, sorry, you can't use our services anymore. Same thing with Ramp is an on and off ramper. Luckily, we have found a few on and off rampers who are willing to work with us. But there's still that risk that tomorrow they could say, actually, never mind, our risk profile, our risk tolerance has changed. We don't want to work with you anymore. Goodbye. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that actually all of these promises that crypto is making cannot be fulfilled? Is it really useless? Well, my answer to that is also no. Because the way that we've set up our platform, for example, with non-custodial wallets, means that even if we were to lose all of our payment processors, we could still send fans to another crypto exchange to buy their crypto over there and then send their crypto to MintStars. So it does enable a greater degree of freedom than our financial system currently allows. And it also means that once people have that money in their wallets, nobody can take it from them, which is not the case with our traditional banking system. So my takeaway from this for all of you is, if you are someone who's building in crypto, please build to fix these problems. And please, when you see greed in this space, call it out, because that greed is not only hurting the image of crypto to people, which if you're here at this conference, you probably want crypto to have a great positive image and you want everybody in the world to use it, which isn't the case after the FTX scandal. But it's also hurting millions and billions of people around the world who actually rely on this for their livelihood. And finally, we would love it if you would check out our project. Feel free to get in touch with me, follow us. If you support financial inclusion, support sex workers, because they're really suffering right now. And aside from just supporting them through crypto solutions, you can also support them through policy solutions. There are bills in Congress right now that are advocating for banking inclusion and advocating for banning banks discriminating against legal businesses. Those laws would not only help sex workers, but they would also help the crypto industry. Many of you may know about Operation Choke Point, which happened during the Obama administration, which instructed banks to pay a closer look at industries that they believed were at risk of fraud. And that included cryptocurrency, that included marijuana, guns, payday lending, gambling, and it included the adult industry. The big difference with the adult industry is that unlike marijuana or unlike crypto, it's not only businesses that are hurting, but it's individual people who are relying on this day to day to pay their rent. So don't only build tech solutions, but also get involved in policy advocacy. I was in Congress in May to talk to Congress members about this problem. A lot of them just simply don't know about it. And if you pick up the phone and you call your Congress member, they will listen to you. They need to know that this is an important issue. So thank you all very much. And I can take any questions if I have time remaining. Yeah.
Hi. As I see that you are solving problem for sex workers through cryptocurrencies and Web3. So currently what blockchain you are using?
Polygon.
Polygon. And as you mentioned that there is a content creator who is bringing some adult contents, and me being a user, if I come on your platform, I create a wallet, and then I purchase some cryptocurrencies. I do on-ramp using Wire, right?
It's not using Wire anymore because Wire gave us the boot. Mm-hmm. We offer a few different on-rampers, mm-hmm. and I'm actually not going to say their names because I don't want anybody who's against this industry to target us and try to get them to ban us. But yeah, we use some other on-rampers.
Okay. So don't mention the name, but can we see this on-ramp on your platform? Like there is already 3 on-ramp companies like Sardine, MoonPay. So can we see in your platform when we on-ramp, or we have to buy cryptocurrencies on another platform and then we can import this wallet into your platform? Like how does it work?
You can do it on our platform. Okay. So we have a widget where you can put in how much USDC you want to buy, mm-hmm. and then you just put in your debit card and it tops up your wallet on the platform. So you actually don't need any crypto knowledge to use the platform. Mm-hmm. However, if you already have crypto, you can send it to your MintStars wallet. So if you have another crypto wallet, you want to buy USDC on some other exchange, you can then send it to your MintStars wallet directly.
Okay, and then now talk about content creator. So how do they off-ramp? Like since the Circle, they cannot use Circle, right? So they have to follow KYB process, or what process they will be following?
So we offer a couple off-ramping solutions that enable you to sell your USDC for dollars or whatever other currency. A benefit is that those exchanges don't necessarily need to know what the content on our platform does. And even if we lose access to those off-ramp providers, creators could still send their USDC to an external wallet and then exchange it from there.
Thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you all. I'll be around if you have more questions.